One topic that is near and dear to my heart is helping new professionals identify what skills and knowledge they're going to need in order to land a job in the IT world. A few of the recommendations I have for you, based on a healthy amount of job interview experience, are have a basic but really solid understanding of common ports and protocols. Some important things to know are which protocols are legacy protocols or are outdated or insecure or have known vulnerabilities. This will definitely help you to avoid being Chicken Little, running around screaming the sky is falling anytime you see some activity, because you might be able to say, oh, okay, this activity makes sense because it's on port XYZ and with this protocol, so that seems like normal business activity. This could also even help you to identify threats and vulnerabilities or possible attacks or compromises within your client's or employer's environment, because you might see some ports that are uncommon or outdated, and this can be a signal for you to investigate further. Another question that I was asked really consistently in every single job interview that I've had in the cybersecurity world is, what sources do you use to stay up to date with current cyber news, current cyber happenings, new exploits and vulnerabilities, etc.? I highly recommend having at least 3 sources that you can name, and ultimately it's important to choose sources that you enjoy reading, because not every source is interesting to every person. However, I do have a few recommendations of ones that I personally like. These include Bleeping Computer, which is a really casual source, but it can be a really great way to stay engaged, stay interested. And Bleeping Computer usually has their ear to the ground, so I do recommend them for keeping up to date on just what kinds of breaches and attacks and exploits are coming out pretty much as soon as they happen. Another source that I recommend is CISA, or Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. CISA is really great about coming up with new exploits and vulnerabilities and giving you the really specific technical details of these new vulnerabilities. However, I will say that it is quite technical, so it's something to review, but don't be stressed if it looks a bit intimidating. Another recommendation I have for something similar to Bleeping Computer, but a bit more technical, is the Hacker News. This gives some more in-depth technical details, and you can sort articles by data breaches, cyber attacks, vulnerabilities, and malware. Finally, one source that I think can be beneficial, although it's not the most technical, is to keep up to date with Forbes cybersecurity news. And the reason that I recommend this is your clients who are less technical, but maybe are CEOs or managers, C-suite executives that are going to be working for this company, they might be reading Forbes and they might ask you about these articles, and so this will give you kind of a heads up on knowing what they're going to be asking you about. Ultimately though, as long as you have 3 sources that you can name off if you're asked how you stay up to date with current cybersecurity news, you should be okay. Last but not least, I highly recommend being familiar with common cybersecurity solutions and tools, because interviewers are likely to ask if either you're familiar with their tools and solutions that they're currently using, and it's always great to be able to confidently and truthfully say, yes, I do know a bit about that tool. Or on the opposite side of things, I have even had one interviewer ask me what recommendations I had for tools for them to use. And that was a pretty intimidating question, given that I didn't have much of an answer at that time, if I'm being honest. So a few things that I would recommend having at least one suggestion for are a tool for antivirus, logging, a SIM solution, phishing simulations, and vulnerability scanning. This will help you cover all your bases and have at least some kind of suggestion or basic familiarity with a wide variety of tools. In addition, I do recommend having at least basic familiarity with really common cybersecurity standards and frameworks, such as NIST CSF, which is what we use here at Edge.